All right. So today I'm actually going to talk about revenue and monthly reoccurring revenue. So it's been about 1 week since the paid version of Channel Surfer has been around, and I want to talk briefly about what's slowing me down, what I'm struggling with, and let's talk about real numbers. All right. So last night, well, while I was asleep in the US, I added three new paid customers to Channel Surfer. It's the first week of the month, and I'm almost approaching $100 MRR. That's far short of my goal. This doesn't include things like Patreon. I do make a little bit of money on Patreon, so that would bring this number up to past 100. What have I done in the last 24 hours? Honestly, I have fucked things up. So I'm really struggling. I just have too much stuff to do. I am trying to do the job of like five people, and I'm fucking everything up. I'm trying desperately to do five jobs, and it's just me. I made a bunch of changes to the newsletter website and the actual email, and I'm building a system to help me understand what things people like and don't like. So there's like a rating system. I totally fucked up the newsletter. I accidentally broke it 100% like 2 days in a row. I broke things pretty badly. So I'm really rushing. I have too much on my plate. And I'm trying to learn. Every time there's a mistake, I try to add a guardrail. Like I will stop and be like, okay, how can I stop this from happening? So yesterday I fixed something, didn't push more changes right before the email went out, broke it. About 10% of the newsletter got a completely broken newsletter. Oops. At least I was able to stop it, but I'm like, fuck, I'm really being sloppy. I have to slow down, but it's so hard because I have just way too much to do by myself. But anyways, I added a new sponsorship page for the newsletter. It's pretty cool. It's very self-serve. You can just book a sponsorship slot, and you can actually see live. You type in things like, you can actually see what it looks like live. Pretty cool. I've never seen one that like lets you view what it looks like live. This actually renders the real code that goes in the email. Here's the new thing. I was trying to add the rating, and you could book it right then and there. It's actually pretty cool. It uses an LLM. Like I built a good custom prompt to review it, and I kind of gave it rules and guidelines like don't allow this, don't allow this. If somebody books, I get an email. It's like, hey, and I have a backend that is only local on my computer that I look and I review it and I can approve it. Um, why am I doing this? Because this is the things I'm trying to automate. I need to automate everything. I'm so busy. I don't have time to automate all the things. It's just nuts. So my goal is for the coming months to slowly do that. And this is a good example. Like, okay, I don't have time to like do back and forth with any advertisers. Like, why not just let them book directly? And there's a bundle you can actually book on Channel Surfer and the newsletter at the same time and get a discount. You can pick a day. These are the kinds of things I had to do to just streamline the operation as much as possible. I quite like how this is working, but no one has signed up just yet, but I just released this. So hopefully a sponsor comes. But soon I want to actually start doing outreach to people to sponsor both. And I'm hoping they'll just come here. But anyways, I broke things on the newsletter. And again, I'm trying to add automation to like make sure I don't break things with other automation. It's very tricky. Other than that, I am still trying to test locally for Channel Surfer. Quite a few code changes. I really refactored more of the code because it was just insane, especially the styling around like CSS. I think that's almost done. I just need to like focus for a few hours, test that up on the site and move forward. Found some more like fancy tricks to try to get the data importing working a bit better. Worked a little bit on that. Other than that, I am going to do my first podcast interview later today. I've never done a podcast. I've always wanted to do that. This is going to be a small podcast, but I want to start with smaller ones and work my way up because it would be like scary. Like, what if like this would never happen, but let's just say Joe Rogan was like, come on the show. I would be horrible. I wouldn't want to go because like you need practice. Like the people who do go on those big podcasts have had a lot of practice. They've been on a lot of smaller podcasts and kind of worked their way up. usually. So I want to do that. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I will probably link to that episode, a future video when that drops. But other than that, it has been brutal, y'all. I'm dying. I cannot keep up with the work. So let's talk about this for a second. A normal company has lots and lots of positions. You have like salespeople or sales team. You have marketing or people doing distribution. You have like, for example, in this situation, you have software, QA maybe, a product team, or, usually it's just like a product manager or account manager. Usually these are kind of like a little separate, and a lot of dysfunction happens when these two people are off doing other shit and talking to these people. You even see this in like big companies, like Apple's a good example. They started talking about Apple Intelligence, and the product and software were like, that's not a thing, that's not ready. Why are you talking about that? So I'm trying to do all of these things by myself. And this is just like a really oversimplification of most businesses. Obviously, there's a lot more. There's like leadership, there's like a CEO, there's so many other gaps and places where some companies need a lot more people, and I'm just one guy. This is the struggle with like indie hacking, and I've seen successful indie hackers talk a lot about this. Like, look, to do this, you got to wear all the hats, and you have to do it really well. It's fucking hard. And a lot of famous people tried to be indie hackers and failed, and I could see why. It's kind of shit. I'm going to try to automate as much as I can. I'm going to try to automate the sales by having much automation with tooling as I can, but I don't believe in 100% automation. I think that's a big, big mistake. I think you need to keep a human in the loop, but I do think you can get 80% of the way there, keeping the human in the loop for the last vital 20%. Software and product, some of it I just feel like we just cannot fully automate. If you 100% automate, that's called vibe coding. You end up with a trash fucking software that doesn't scale. It has security holes. I definitely don't do 80% automation. I am really, really hands-on, especially like something I care about, like channel surfer. Like I'm really, really deep into the weeds. I'm like, put this in this file, put this in this file, do it like this. I'm very like much more hands-on. I'm definitely not 80%. QA, I would say the AI does 20%, the human does 80% for QA. Product, say, is about 99%. And I actually think the future and successful companies will not use AI for product, for the taste part, for figuring out what the users need and want. I think that's the one thing we should not be trying to outsource. But this, I need like 80%, straight up 80%, where I like look at something and go, hey, I think you should reach out to this company and this person for outreach, for sponsoring Channel Surfer. Here's what I propose you write. And then I look at it and I go, yeah, no, that's not a good fit. Nope. And I retweak the draft email, like, so it's not AI slop. I actually rewrite it and I hit the send button. That's what I mean by like 80% automation. Marketing is kind of the same. It needs to like, hey, here's a bunch of things. Here's like something I think you should talk about. Here's what I'm proposing. Here's some ideas that get surfaced to me. Hey, what do you want to tweak today? Like, for example, doing these videos, if I could automate as much of this process as possible, that would be a huge help. So there's all these things every single day I have to do that just slow me down and overwhelm me, stress me out. I'm working so fucking much. And as you can see, $100 MRR is not really worth it at this point. I'm going to slowly try to automate all of this, but right now it is very, very overwhelming. And the worst part is, you still have to kind of have some kind of life. You can't really automate spending time with your partner, your friends, your family, or making friends, or being social. Can't really automate that. So there's a lot to fit into the days and weeks. But this is kind of my thinking. I'm going to try to automate as much as humanly possible. I want like an almost basically one-man automated. I'll get to goals in a future video. But anyways, on to my random story for today. So I'm doing things a bit differently in this video. I'm doing the random story at the end. Speaking of automation, I will talk about some successful automation I recently had. So I went away for almost 3 weeks. I was out of the country, away from my flat, and I managed to so I got these fish. I have a fish tank behind me with a bunch of fish. There's a big snail, and I was like, how the fuck am I gonna be away for 3 weeks? Like, I need to automate this. And this actually made me start really thinking deeply about automation because it was so successful. So I put a webcam with a big ass USB cable pointed right at the fish tank. It wasn't a good view, it was kind of a weird side view, but it was good enough. I got this automated feeder. So you put it on the top, and there's like a little slot that opens. It's like opens, the food drops and it closes and it goes to the next day. You can this thing was super sophisticated. You can set it like multiple times a day, like every other day, like very, very shockingly pretty advanced little auto feeder. So I set it to feed them just a pinch every other day. They're small fish. I had to get a universal, so the light for the damn aquarium, you had to like manually turn it on and off with a remote. So I got like this universal IR blaster, and what am I doing? I could just show you it. So I got this thing, and it's just such a bitch to set up, but once I set it up, it's pretty cool. So I have a computer here, like a little Linux desktop computer. That's kind of like my server, my home, my self-hosting like server at the flat here. So I pointed this thing at the fish tank, and I just had Claude help me do it all. I was like, hey, I need to do this. Like, I want this thing to turn on and off. It did all of it. I set it up on my phone initially, and then it just is controlled by the computer. Worked fucking great. Fish timer on and off automatically. I don't have to do anything, and I'm like, I can't express how like these small little things just kill me. It just psychologically. Oh fuck! I had to remember to turn the light on and off, and there was like too much algae, and then I was like going crazy. I was like, I need to start automating like all the things. It worked brilliantly. It works. The thing turns on and off. And I set up the camera so I could remote in. And of course, I use a VPN. And so I was able to watch the fish, like the light turns on and off. I see that they're all swimming. I set up the feeder a few days before we left. It was kind of iffy if it was going to work, but it worked perfectly. Fed them all 3 weeks. I had no worries. I even had Claude record the little window of time when this fish food dropped so I could like see them running around and eating the food. It worked amazingly. 100% automated. For 3 weeks, the fish, everything stayed alive. I was not around. I came home and I had to do a bunch of maintenance work, but I was like, this is the kind of automation I need for the whole business. I need this in so many aspects of my life. I'm dying here. I'm just like overwhelmed with like 100 things to do. The to-do list just keeps growing, and things keep going up to the top of the queue, and it's not getting smaller. So that really made me think like, damn, automation is good enough. Like, I need to start automating a lot of stuff. This is the feeder, by the way. It's pretty damn good feeder. I was pretty impressed. It's like crazy complex. No questions or comments today, so that's all I got for today. See you next time.